all of you are welcome. Today I want to discuss the problems which has been given to you for the sessional exam. 10 questions have been given to you. Now I want to discuss the solutions, how the solutions will be coming, and probably you have answered the questions by knowing these solutions or by by guessing the solutions. Now today I want to discuss all the problems which will help you to understand how to solve the problems, and in future the similar type of problems can be solved uh, if you learn these methods. Okay, now I want to the first problem. Let's consider the first problem. What is the first problem? The first problem is basically, you see, uh, suppose we perform a sequence of n operations of cost 1, each in which ith operation costs I, uh, if I is a power of 2, otherwise it is 1. What is the average cost per operation? What will be the answer? You see this, the answer is C. Why it is answer is C? That means it can be every operation will take constant time. Order of 1 means constant time. How it is coming? That just you see. Now I want to give you the solution. See this. That means let question number one. Let Ci be the cost. This is equal to we can write I if I equals to 2 power k. It is a power of 2 and 1 otherwise, right? So what will be the cost? You see this. That means when it is a power of 2, that means when it is 1, then the cost is definitely 1. I means when it is 1, it is cost is 1, and for 2 it is again it is 2, and when it is 3 then it is 1, when it is 4 then it is 4, when it is right. But when it is 5 then it is 1, 6 1, 7 1, when it is 8 then it is 8. Then how do you express this? So you have to find out the total cost of this. So the total cost is how much? What is the total cost? Total cost is equal to basically summation of I is equal to 0 to n Ci, right? So this can be the total cost of the operation. So this can be written as this is less than equal to definitely n. N is the n, that means at least n will be there, plus sum of I equals to 0 to log n 2 power I. Where from this is coming? That is the main thing. What is the suppose as the number of operation is n, the how many terms are of power of k? Power of 2. How many terms are there? If it is n, then definitely that all of you are knowing about this. Number of term is log n base 2, right? Because suppose you consider n is equal to suppose 32, then what will be the number of terms which are actually power of 2? That is 2 power 0, 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 2 power 4, and 2 power 5. These are the terms, right? That means how many terms are there? This power will give you the number of terms, that is basically log n, because log 32 is basically 5. So log n plus 1 means approximately it is log n, right? So that means how many times when n operations has been executed, then number of 2 power terms will be basically log n, because I is equal to 0 means it will include I is equal to, actually when I is equal to 0 then it is 1. So what will be the this thing, what is the summation of this thing? This is basically n plus what is this one, this is basically summation is how many terms are there, log n plus 1 terms. So it is 2 power, first term is 1, you know the GP series, that is 2 power log n plus 1 minus 1 by 2 minus 1. This is basically n plus 2 power log n base 2. What is this one? All of you are knowing about this. That is basically n. That is basically, what is this thing? 2 power log n. It is n this is basically, you can write here 2 power, better you write this is 2 into 2 power log n base 2 minus 1 implies n plus twice this 2 into 2 power log n, sorry 2 into 2 power log n, so this is 2 into n, because you all of you are knowing about this, this is basically equal to n, right? So 2n minus 1, this is basically 3n minus 1. So total cost is 3n minus 1. So what will be the average cost? So average cost is equal to 3n minus 1 by n, that is approximately 3. That means it can be written as, this is belonging to beta, is belonging to order of 1. So the cost is order of 1. Now it is clear to you, right? So this solution can be gotten in this way, order of 1. Now I want to go to the second question. Second question is, see, second question is, the time complexity of an algorithm with n input is 1 plus 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by n. That I have already told, till I am repeating this. What is the tighter upper bound of this expression? This is famous expression that will be needed for several algorithm design technique for doing the time complexity analysis, right? In future you will see. So just you know this, how do you calculate? This is basically a harmonic progression, right? Let's see this, how do you do this. Right, the second problem is basically question number 2. So the Tn is equal to 1 plus half plus 1 by 3, this is the harmonic progression, plus 1 by n. So this can be written as sum of I is equal to 1, sorry, 1 to uh, n 1 by I, it can be written as, and that is definitely less than equal to integration of I is equal to 1 to n 1 by I di. Am I clear? Because this is basically the sum of discrete real numbers, but it is the sum of the continuous real numbers, which is of the form 1 by I again. So definitely there are some real cases will be included here. So this must be the upper bound of this expression. We can write this, all of you are knowing about this integration symbol. So this is basically, what is this? This is log I, or the lower bound is 1, this is n, this is basically log of n. So this can be the solution. So the upper bound of this harmonic progression is basically log n. That means it can be written as order of log n, right? So this is the case. Second solution. Now go to the third question. What is this one? This is basically if the complexity of an algorithm with n input is log n factorial, then the best approximation of Pn is what? Some of you are definitely knowing about this, but I am giving you this solution for everyone. What is log n factorial? Just see this. Question number 3. So Tn is equal to log n factorial. This is basically, you can write this log n factorial means 1 into 2 into up to n. So this is log n plus log 2 plus log 3 plus dot 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 plus log n. Now how many terms are there? Here n terms are there. So it can be written as this must be less than equal to log n plus log n plus dot 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 plus log n, right? So this must be less than equal to n log n, which is belonging to order of n log n. So this can be the tighter upper bound of this thing, right? So how many terms are there? That's why this analysis will be needed in many places for finding the lower bound of sorting algorithm. Actually, you are knowing about this, that there are some sorting algorithm like quick sort, like merge sort, where the time complexity is order of n log n, and whether the question whether that algorithm is the best known algorithm, that means this, whether this algorithm is optimum algorithm or not, that how do you tell this? That means there must be some theoretical lower bound, where it can be order of n log n, then you can tell that the complexity, time complexity is optimum for that merge sort algorithm, right? And that can be found later on. You can see with the help of this type of calculation. This is the most important calculation for this. Okay. Now go to the next question. Uh, Next question is the fourth question. Fourth question is very nice question. You see this? I don't know whether you've done it or not. That is t n is equal to t square root of n plus 5. Acha, how do you do this? You see this. Go to the next slide, and then the question is basically question number 4. Tn is equal to t square root of n plus 5. It can be 5, 6, 1, 100, anything. It is a constant. For any constant, the solution is same. Just you see this. How do you solve this? Actually, for any recurrence relation, some terminating condition, that means the best solution must be given to you. That means actually T1 or T0 will be something that I know that can be a constant. You can you can think of this, right? That can be a constant, because when the input size is 1, then some constant time you can uh, execute your algorithm, that is t1. That is not given to me, say by you can tell that suppose t1 is constant. Now what is the behavior of this? You see this. Let How do you solve this? And for solving this type of problem, always you have to suppose that n is equal to 2 power m. Let n is equal to 2 power m. Why I am taking this? You can tell that if I take n is equal to 28, it cannot be expressed as 2 power m, but you can express that 28 very number. If n is equal to 28, that must be less than equal to 2 power 5. So for every integer which is not a power of 2, that is less than is equal to always the closest thing, that is 2 power something I. There exists an I which is the least value of I such that 28 less than equal to 2 power I. Here it is 5, right? Now you see, replace this, so you can get t to power m is equal to t, this is 2 power m by 2 plus 5, right? So you can get this reconciliation. Now again let uh, s m is equal to uh, t 2 power m. This is a supposition, suppose. Then this reconciliation can be converted into Sm is equal to Sm by 2. Am I clear? It is very easy. See, it is, if it is 2 power m, then it is m. If it is 2 power m by 2, then it is Sm by 2. Now, can anyone tell me what is the behavior of this thing? This is basically binary search technique. That means when m number of sorted array elements will be there, and you want to do the binary search, then every time in every step the whole array will be size of the whole array will be reduced to half of the original array size. That means Sm can be found with the help of Sm by 2 plus some constant. So what is the behavior of this thing? This is basically better you can tell this is right here. Better you can tell me this is belonging to, this behavior is known to you, that's why you can write this order of log n. Am I clear? Now it can be written as, because this is a binary search type reconciliation, so all of you are knowing about the, you have done the binary search by iteration, but it can be done by recurrence also, and this reconciliation will give you the idea about the binary search algorithms times complexity. So it can be log of m can be replaced by what is m. M is basically, you see this, n is equal to 2 power m. What is m? M is log n base 2, right? So what is the behavior of this? So this is the answer, order of log n for this reconciliation, right? So it can be replaced in this way. So many reconciliation will be there that can be solved by putting 2 power m value always, because if it is not a power of 2 power m, that can be the analysis can be done with the help of the nearest the larger number, which is a power of 2, right? Here it is, this is the example of this one, and do the analysis here, then it can be done. So as you want to find out the upper bound, so it can be done, right? Now go to the fifth problem. uh, Fifth problem is basically that is very easy. You see, sort all the functions below in increasing order of asymptotic BGO notation. You see, that is very easy. You do this thing. This is 5 power of something, 4 power of something. This 5 power n. So what will be the answer? Actually, see, the answer is here. Answer is here actually C. C is the answer. You see this. This is the answer of this problem, because you see this as ascending order of increasing order of. So F4 5 power 5n, that is basically multiple, but here it is 4 power n power 4. That means for some value of n, for a constant value of n uh, greater than equal to something, you can find out f4, f then f3 is size is more than f4, and f2 is more than f3, and f1 is more than f2. That is very easy. I don't want to tell you this thing. Now go to the problem number 6. What is 6 1? You see the here the pseudocode is given to you. That means given any given the pseudocode. Here you see this, k is equal to square root of n. So the outer loop will be running from 1 to square root of n, and that, as this is a nested for loop, so ultimately outer loop will be running square root of n times, and the inner loop will be running how much time? You see this, when it is 1, then it is 1 to 1, when it is 2, it is 1 to 2 square, when it is 3, it is 1 to 3 square. So what is the last value? Last value is square root of n. So square root of n, when the value of j is square root of n, then this is square root of n whole square means n. It will run n times. So actually, as we want to find out the upper bound, what is the maximum worst case complexity? So root n times the outer loop will be running. Under this, maximum times the loop will be running, that is n, because the maximum value is square root of n. So square, that is n. So n into square root of n will be the complexity. That means basically this B answer is right. So B is the right answer, n to the power of 1.5 for 6 problem. 7. Now consider the 7 problem that I have told already. uh, Consider the situation where you don't have function to calculate power, and you need to calculate x power n, where x can be any number. Now you see the notations are in order notations. That means you have to find out the upper bound, right? How do you do this? Go to the slide. Better for now. Uh, what is the question? X power n, right? X power n. How do you calculate this? So you have to calculate x power n. So what is the minimum time? How do you do this without using power function? What is the best known upper bound? That means that I am taking one example, x power 7. How do you do this? X power 7, better you take x power 15, then it will be better to understand. X power 15, here n is equal to 15, n equal to 15. How do this? First find out x, that means x power 1. Then find out x power 2, this is 1 multiplication. Then find out x power 4. Then find out x power 8. Now you see this, up to this, how many steps are there? 1, here it is 1, here it is 1. That means you can store everywhere x square, and with the help of 2x square can be multiplied, and you will get x power 4, and that can be stored somewhere. Then x power 4 into x power 4 will give you x power 8. Now you see this, how many multiplications are there? 3 multiplications. And now for getting x power 15, you have to multiply these things. How many multiplications? Again 3. So the total number of multiplications is 6. Now how many steps? Initially you see this, how many multiplications are there for finding this? That means basically, if you represent 15 as a binary number, that is 1 1 1 1, that is basically uh, the binary representation of 15. That means uh, how many bits are needed? 4 bits. That means basically log n bits. If the power is n, then how many bits will be needed to represent that decimal number into binary number? That is log n. And you see this log n base 2 times, you have to find out the power of excess, and ultimately the total number of multiplication is twice log n. That is basically because after finding all those x powers, you have to multiply all those things. That means log n times you have to needed for finding the powers, and another log n time will be needed for finding the x power 15, that is x power n. So it is belonging to order of log n base 2. That is the best known upper bound for finding this. Now you can tell me what is the how do you find this x power 11? That can be done by, as 11 can be represented as 1 8 2 that 1 0 1, possibly this one. What? 1 2 4 8. This is 11. Now that means you have to find out x first, then x square, then x4, and then x8, because you have to find out, for finding x power 8 you have to do all those steps. But scan through this from the left side, this will be multiplied as it is 1, this will not be multiplied, and this is sorry, it can be represented in this side actually, in this way. So better, this is wrong thing actually. You go scan from this side, and here the scanning will be started from this side. So 1 means x bar 8 will be taken, 0 means this is not taken, 1 means this will be taken, this 1 means this x will be taken. So multiply x power 8 x square and 2. So at most number of multiplication will be log n, but you have to find out for powers, log n steps must be needed. So this can be the upper bound. Clear? So this is the method for finding um, the without using power function. Right? Now go to the next thing, that is 8. Problem number 8. That is a nice problem, and there you can see this. For this problem a1, I am 10 5 10 5 5 20 20 10 10 10 5 20 10 5 20 10. Possibly this is the problem. So this is A1 matrix, A2 matrix, A3 matrix, and A4 matrix. Now can you tell me, you have to do the multiplication of A1, A2, A3, A4. So A1 into A2 into A3 into A4. As matrix multiplication is binary, so it can be done in how many ways? You can see this. You can do this A1, A2 first, A3, A4 first, and you can do the multiplication last. This is the case. Or other way, it can be done in A1, A2, A3, and A4. It can be the other way, or it can be done, or it can be done in A1, A1, A2, A3, A4, right? Or it can be done A1, A2, A3, A4, like this. So in several ways you can do this job, because we know that matrix multiplication matrix multiplication is associative. As it is associative, so everyone, if you do the in this way, or in this order, or in this order, or in this order, everyone will give you the same result, because it is associative, because you are not ordering the changing the order. That's why it is associative, uh, but it is not commutative. But so which one will give you the result. Now we see uh, first thing, what is the time here, how many number of multiplications needed for this calculation. You see this, if first you do this multiplication a1 into a2, a1 into a2, if you want to multiply a1 into 2, how many multiplications will be needed for a1 a2? Number of multiplication is equal to 10 into 5 into 20, right? That is how much? 1000. You see this, all of you are knowing about this. Just see, take a small example, then it will be visible the number of multiplication for doing matrix multiplication. And here it is compatible, you see this. And after getting this, what is the order of this matrix? This is basically 10 into 20 order, right? Now finding a3 a4, the number of multiplication for a3 a4, and you will get the result a3 for a3 a4, that is 20 into 5, right? So this is how much? This will be um, 20 into 10 into 5, right? That is how much? That is again 1000. Now you have to find out the number of now you have to do the multiplication of this one and this one. What is the number of multiplication? Then here you see this, your result is 10 cross 20, here that it is 20 cross 5. So number of multiplication will be 10 cross 20 into 5, that is basically again 1000, right? So total number of multiplication is how much? The total is equal to 3000. Total number of multiplications needed for this multiplication for a1 a2 a3 a4 in this order, it is basically 3000. Clear? Now you see what is the important observation here, that whether it can be done in this order. You can see yes, I'm doing this thing. uh, you just try to do this, that is for your home task, and I am doing this because I know the result, right? You see, first find out a2 a3, a2 a3, the how much, now how many number of multiplications are there, a2 a3 5 into a2 a3, that is 5 into 20 into 10, that is how much, this is equal to 1000. Clear? So and this is of order, the resulting matrix of order 5 into 10. Am I clear? Now do this thing, a1 a2, multiply, do the multiplication for a1 and this relative matrix, that is a1 is basically 10 cross 5. Here you will get 5 into 10. So the result is 10 into 5 into 10. This will be the number of multiplication for the second thing. So this is equal to, basically you see this is how much, this is 500, this is 500. Now after this you will get a matrix of order how much, 10 into 10, right? You're getting the order 10 into 10. Lastly you have to multiply with 10 cross 5, 10 into 10 into 10 cross 5, how much, that is 10 into 10 into 5, right? We are doing this one. So how much this is, again 500. Now what is the total number of multiplication? The total is equal to, you see this 2000. So which is good. Here it is, if you do the multiplication for getting the same result, it will the number of multiplication is 3000, here the number of multiplication is 2000. This is the efficient. So the most important is in which order you are doing the multiplications. So that's why if n number of matrices will be there and you have to do the multiplications, then it is called the matrix chain multiplication, that will be covered possibly in design and analysis of algorithm course. Possibly it will be covered, and that can be done by dynamic programming. All of you are not knowing about this, but it can be done. That is also another design paradigm. But you see, in this way you just find out this one again, and you just find out this one, you will get a result where the minimum number is 1500. So for you have to find out all those things. This will give you the minimum number of multiplications, so that will give you the benefit. So if the number of multiplications is the minimum, then your definitely your algorithm for doing the matrix chain multiplications is efficient, right? The main property here, the mathematical property, is basically as matrix multiplication is associative, then choose your order. Now, how the order will be chosen, that is the big challenge. That can be done by some method, that is dynamic programming. That will be covered later, right? But you see this for this example. Take a feelings of this. Right. Now the problem is the very nice problem. Polynomial how do you do this? How many minimum number of multiplications will be needed for this one? You see this ninth problem. So here it is given a0 plus a1x plus a2x square plus a3x cube. This is a degree 3 equation. Now how many you if you want to find out x cube, how many multiplications will be needed? Already you have to find out x square, then x square into x means 2, already 2, right? Only 2. And as those results can be stored here, that means these are already here 2, and here it is 1, 2 and 3. So how many? 5. But you see, there is one other nice technique is there. A0 plus, take a common x, a1 plus a2x plus a3x square. Now you do this. A0, just do the simple algebra, that will help you to find out. A1 plus, take a common here, a2 plus a3x, right? Now we see, if you can express this polynomial in this way, so how many number of multiplications are there? Well, number 1, and this is the addition. Addition is low cost operation, and here number 2, and here is also addition, here is number 3. So the minimum number of multiplication is 3. This is basically a nice technique that is called Nernst rule. Nernst rule. If you express any polynomial in this way, and n degree polynomial can be expressed in this way again, and if the degree of a polynomial is n, then only n multiplications are sufficient to solve to evaluate that polynomial expression, right? So this is the minimum number of multiplications. Okay, the last question is this is a very interesting problem. Then last question is, what is the time complexity of the following function? Probably you can do this. What is this one? This is a nice problem. This is again a nested for loop. The first outer loop will be running how many times? It is basically 1 to n, right? Now for every value here, it is I power k, right? K integer will be given to you. Suppose k is 2, just think about k is 2, then p will be I power to I square. That means the this second for loop will be running from 1 to basically I square. Am I clear? That means I is equal to 1, then it will run to 1 square. If it is 2, it will run to 2 square. Then ultimately when I is equal to n, it will run to n square. Then how many times will be running? For that means the total running time is basically 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square up to n square, right? What is the summation of this thing? Can anyone tell me? The summation of this thing basically, that means the for I is equal to 1, it is 1 square. For I equals to 2, this is question number 10, and this is question number actually 9, right? So I equal to 2, this is 2 square. When I is equal to 3, it is 3 square, and when I is equal to n, it is n square. That is for outer loop. When outer loop running n times, then total number of times the second for loop will be running, that is this one. So you will find out 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square plus dot 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 plus n square. What is the value? This is basically n into n plus 1 into 2n twice n plus 1 whole by 6. Basically you see this is belonging to order of n cube. Clear? When you are doing, if k is equal to 1, then it is 1 plus 2 plus n. So sum of n numbers is order of n square. Sum of uh, n square number is order of n cube. Clear? That means sum of the squares is always order of n cube. And if it is k, if the value of if the power is k, then what should be the result? That means if the power is k, then it should be order of n power k plus 1. Clear? This is the solution. Right, that means just simple observation which you have learned in your class 12 level, that if it is linear, then it is order of n square, it is square, then it is order of n cube, and if it is 1 cube plus 2 cube plus that thing, that is order of n power. That all of you are knowing about it. So if it is power k, then it is order of n power k plus 1. Okay, probably there will be no doubt about those 10 questions. It is get to, and those techniques will be needed for future, uh, in future, for solving many types of problems. That's why I've chosen these type of questions, and it will be learned in future when you have completed your design and analysis of algorithm paradigms, right? So many things will be there, but you started, my suggestion is you start reading or that design and analysis of algorithm books. You can easily understand, right? Because you have that prerequisite knowledges in first year, and I'm confident about it that you can understand. Okay, thank you very much.